hey, and thank you for clicking play. It's another, well, a very quick pickups video, because the last one was really just a test of the GoPro camera, my old GoPro camera. Really wasn't happy with the audio. Is it in here? Hang on. It's in the bin, the GoPro, because it was an old one, and I've never liked GoPro. I've never liked them. The only thing they're good for is strapping to a car on a track day. But then if you're fussy about the audio, they're not even good for that. So I've invested in, so this is part of the pickups video, but just to let you know what's happening with the channel, I have invested in this. So that is a Sony ZV-1F, and that's what I'm filming on right now in 4K. So I'll keep this particular video 4K because it shouldn't be too long a one. I will do a behind the scenes video about this camera. It won't be a normal episode, it'll just be behind the scenes. And the bundle I picked up, so this is a bit of an investment as far as I'm concerned for me, is the ECM G1 microphone as well. So I'll cover that in that behind the scenes video. But that forms not only part of the pickups, but the direction of the channel. Just wanted to up the quality a little bit without blowing the budget. And as you know, I'm completely self-funded on this. You know, I don't make any money out of this, it's just a hobby. So it's quite a big commitment for me. And also, one of the reasons why I bought this setup is because I am now doing the video work for the Perth Amiga users group. And well, let's launch straight into that now. We have just launched a new channel for the Perth Amiga users group, so I'll put a link in the description. Do please support it. You know, like, subscribe, blah blah blah. Even though I would call myself the current custodian of that channel. The idea of having it as a separate channel is that anybody can then manage that in the future. So I'm managing it at the moment, but it's not my channel. It's the group's channel. So that's how that is being set up. So really happy with that. It's just the right place for Meet videos, and so we can build that going forwards. And so some of the pickups that I'll show you today are from the Perth Amiga user group Meet line. It was a fantastic meet. That was on the 27th of May. So do head over to that channel after this video, because the first video up on the Perth Amiga users group channel is, funnily enough, Meet 9. So you'll find all about that on that video. Pickups then. There's a couple of pickups when I did the GoPro test. Oh yeah, so basically the GoPro, I looked up ways to improve the audio. There was some quite convincing videos saying you can basically drill through the membrane that makes the microphone holes waterproof or water resistant. So I put a drill through it, and I think I went too far. In fact, I think the one I had didn't even have a membrane. And I just went straight through the PCB with a drill. So that's why it's in the bin there. It's quite a while ago. Shows you how often I empty my bins. Pickups. A long time ago, but I forgot in the last pickup. I went to, so it's like the equivalent of a car boot fair. It is a, they call it a vintage market. Same thing, set out in a field. And what you think, you know, you go there thinking it's people selling stuff from, you know, their garage or whatever, but really these are semi-professional sellers that have bought stuff they think cheap, and they're trying to make a profit on it. So, some bizarre things I saw there, like one of the, some of the Star Wars toys from, you know, the Episode 3 era. So, you know, well, even after that, we're talking, you know, early 2000s these toys came out, so they're not old, they're not vintage, they're certainly not collectible. And this woman, it wasn't even a complete ship, and she wanted $100 for this particular Star Wars ship. One of them was a Y-Wing. It was a reissue Y-Wing with most of the stuff missing, and she wanted nearly $100 for it. That's the kind of people you're up against, unfortunately. But what I did pick up was, I can't remember exactly what I played, but I got, for the Atari 2600, I'm loving picking 2600 games up, basketball. And this works. And these were, they weren't expensive, but they weren't cheap. They were the same as I would pay at a retro shop, which has got a returns policy and generally test stuff before they sell it to you. So I'm not a fan of the vintage markets. I'm really not, because it's just people probably tax-free having a bit of a laugh. But anyway, basketball, that one works, so happy with that. Atari 2600 game. And I picked up this copy of Frogger. Now, this wasn't cheap at all, and she wouldn't budge on her prices. It was like $35 or something ridiculous. But it's in very good condition. Very, very good condition. Externally. Doesn't work. And I've got no comeback. I could go back to the field, but no one's there. And I've cleaned the pins over and over again with alcohol, rubbing out, isopropyl and a cotton bud. So the next step really is to really get at it, is to open the cartridge, because this won't boot. It literally won't work. I've tried over and over and over again. Unfortunately, with 2600 cartridges, you have to peel the label off to get to the screw to open the cartridge. So I'll see what I can do going forwards, but at the moment, that's dead. Vintage markets, not happy. You get a much better service. And why are the labels on 2600 carts upside down? I don't like it. But yeah, support your local retro shops, guys, seriously, because there's a lot of tax-free chances out there, and they don't do you any favours. So what else have I got? Once again, so this was just this last weekend. Most of this stuff is from this recent couple of weekends. I've once again popped into my local newsagent, and the young girl looked at me and she goes, "Oh, you want to see if your magazines are in?" They now recognise my face. She goes, "You're in almost every week." I'm not in almost every week, but what it is I'm just aware of when the magazines come out, so I sort of give it a bit of a lag and then I'll pop in and just have a check. And sure enough, my copy of Pixel Addict and Amiga Addict, so these are not the same as the ones I showed you in the last video. These are new ones. They were in the folder, in the drawer, with my name on it. So very, very happy. The system is working. So I'm over the moon with that. And long may it continue. And I just love these magazines. I do actually have another article coming up. It'll be a two-part article, I believe, in Amiga Addict. Don't get paid for that. You know, it's just part of being in the community. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't exactly know which issues it's going to be in yet. So, but yeah, that should be coming up. And while I was downtown, I also saw this, and I had to. I don't often buy Retro Gamer magazine. It's a good magazine. It's just a lot of the time it's dealing with games, consoles, or a time period that I'm not overly interested in. But this 80s Retro Gaming Collection, so it's one of the specials. You got Outrun on the cover. Couldn't leave that on the shelf. So that was in one of my. That was in Midland Lucky Charms, by the way. That was in Midland Lucky Charms, whereas these are a bit more local to me. So yeah, that's good. Now, okay, let's go back to the Perth Amiga Users Group meet. What did I pick up at the meet? You'll see some of the footage when you go and check out the video. But basically, Byron and the shop 8-Bit Anarchy, they set up a table at the meet. There was nothing on the buy-sell swap table. Always check that out. There was nothing that was particularly grabbing my attention there. So once Byron and his staff came and they set up their table of wares, they had lots of Commodore 64s. They had some other console stuff. They had an Atari Lynx in a bag with some games. They had lots of 2600 Juniors, all sorts of consoles. Great place. Check it out on Facebook. I'll put the link in the description, as always. But they had this. So, you know, I've got an Atari 2600 Junior, right? And I got it in box at a previous Amiga meet. The tradition is I go to an Amiga meet and I buy things that aren't Amiga at all, apart from modern power supplies. But anyway, it's just a running joke now. I don't need another 2600, but I couldn't resist this. I've got a 6-switch, a light 6er. It's not a 2600. It's the pre-branding of 2600. It doesn't say 2600 anywhere on it. It says video computer system. This is an Atari VCS light switcher, woody, got the wood paneling, and it's all fully working. Everything works beautiful. So yeah, really cool. And it wasn't expensive. It's what I love about these. Is this was cables like a tail. This was $85. Obviously, there's no box, so just to justify that, no box, no power supply, but I can use the one from the Junior, so that's fine. Has the RF cable in, and that's what I've been using, and it's actually, this has got a better signal. I'll do a separate video on my Ataris, but this has a better signal than my Junior does on the same telly, so I'm stoked with that. I'm absolutely stoked. What they did throw in though, let's just put the RF cable down there. What they did throw in though are these paddles. Now these are in fantastic condition. These are in absolutely staggering condition. So I'm not sure if these are originals and they just have hardly been used, which is often the case, or if these are from a later flashback. I don't know because I can't tell. So somebody can tell me if those are originals or if they're from a flashback. They feel, because I've got the flashback joysticks, that's what I actually use on my Junior. These feel like higher quality plastic than the stuff I'm used to on the flashback, but I've not felt flashback paddles before. So I don't know. I don't know. There's the other end, splits out of one D connector. I don't know, but I don't care either, because I happily use flashback joysticks on my original 2600 Junior, and that's what I've been using on this as well. So it doesn't matter to me. It's having the original console that's the main thing. Now, obviously, if there's Ataris there, there's going to be Atari games there. So the games I picked up, and these were all from 8-Bit Anarchy as well. They basically done me a bulk deal, so I don't want to tell you all the prices. There were no favours done, let's put it that way, but they were very negotiable. So I do appreciate that. First and foremost, and I've been wanting one of these for a while so I can do a video on this feature, I picked up a Commodore 64 game, and I picked up, I was going to cover the price sticker there, I picked up Le Mans. Well, actually, I'll show you the price sticker, but that's not what I paid for it. So I picked up Le Mans. That's a Commodore 64 cartridge, because the C64 has a cartridge slot in the back. So I'm excited to play about with that feature. And apparently, I can use these paddles to play the game, because it is a paddle game. So that'll be fun to find out. What I also picked up from 8-Bit Anarchy at the meet was Battlezone. So great game in the arcades, very different on the Atari console. Now that's meant to be focusing on, when I hold things up, there we go. Very different, because this isn't wireframe, and it would have been good if it was wireframe, but it's actually not. It's more sort of sprite based, but it's still a good game on the home system. So we got that, got Battlezone, and then in these nice cases, which one first? We got that. Yar's Revenge. So there we go. Excellent condition. Weird thing is I muted those speakers. They're still making noises. So, yep, Yar's Revenge. Happy with that. And these, obviously, these work because they're from a shop. Even though it was at the meet. And Pole Position. Now the funny thing is, I didn't have a games list for my 2600 collection, and I've already got Pole Position, but this one's in much better condition. So I do already have an Atari 2600 game double up. I've actually got quite a few. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, but one's a double up. 16 cartridges, plus the 32 in one. So 17 cartridges for my 2600. That's growing quick. So that's what I picked up from the Perth Amiga users group, as in that and that and that. And he also had a Vader there. So that I didn't pick that up at the meet, but he did have a Vader. Of course, I ignored the Vader because I was picking up a 6-switcher Woody. So why would I pick up a Vader? I've got to admit, it did play on my mind because suddenly I've got this obsession with collecting the set. But I left it at the meet. So that's that. Okay, so then the following weekend, which is literally just this previous weekend, so the weekend after the meet, I was down in Midland again, and I went to a charity shop that I don't usually go to, and I'll insert a quick bit of footage here. And this is basically me just looking around a tub of, you've always got to check the puzzles and games, because what was in there was this. a fully boxed, their finest hour for PC hidden among the puzzles. And that is 100% complete inside. So you got the manual, you got 4 discs, and these are the 5 1/4 inch discs. You've got the code wheel, and you've got the reference guide in there as well. And you've even got a little pamphlet, because back in the day, apparently, if you read that, you could send off these 5 1/4 inch discs, and they'd swap it for the 3 1/2 inch discs, if that was your preference. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure that that offer is null and void now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to burn some 3 1/2 inch disc images and put them in the box here as well. Clearly marked with my own handwriting that they're backups. But I was just so stoked. $3 that cost me in a charity shop. That always, you'll do it 100 times and you'll go, there's never games in the puzzle section. Why am I checking the puzzle section? And then one day, this happens. Do it. Seriously, do it. Our late friend Godfrey, he picked up Lotus Challenge 2 in a charity shop in doing exactly the same thing. Found it nestled amongst the puzzles. It happens. It happens. And even LGR goes into that. It absolutely happens. So that's everything. Or is it? Because also in Midland, very close to that charity shop, that's where Byron's shop is. So I shot him a message because I was in the area. And I picked up the Vader as well. So I haven't actually tested this yet because I've got to put an RF cable in it. Stupidly, Atari, you have to open the console to connect the RF cable up. Like, why? But I had to. Look at it. It's just so good. That is, so now I don't need any more Ataris other than the Lynx. I do need the Lynx. I'm not going to bother with a 7800. And if a 7800 comes up, then I will get rid of the Junior. There's no point having a Junior and a 7800 in my view. But to have, at the moment, to have the Junior, the 6-switcher Woody and a Vader. Not going to get a 4-switcher Woody. Don't even go there. Don't need it. That I'm very happy with. Where's that going to go without covering anything up? Nowhere. It doesn't work. Dave from Retro Games Play Badly, he could sort of make it work. That's just going to push everything off, isn't it? He's done it. He's done it, and it's even in shop. Fantastic stack. Very happy. That's it. I'm not going to drag it out. Please do go and check out the Perth Amiga user group video channel. Link in the description, as well as link to Meet One Video. Check it out. It's great. Subscribe, click the bell, all those things. Not on this channel, on their channel, because it's not my channel. It's the group's channel. Thanks. Thanks for watching.